Good morning. Well, I had quite a heavy day yesterday. We can't control our feelings, so the universe laid down a heavy blanket of depression, I think, in order to just give me a refresher course in depression so I would have some more empathy. But I have empathy. I haven't forgotten what depression is like, but this is the thing. That doesn't mean I have to, it means I have this experience in how to overcome this. And I told you yesterday, and yesterday I had to follow my own counsel. I was here, I would lay down a heavy blanket of depression, but so I did. I took my own counsel. I watched a film first. I watched a film on Netflix called Fear and Trembling. And, well, the Buddhists say not so much a snowflake falls out of place, but this was another Japanese film. Which portrayed the Japanese as right cunts. In particular, one girl, because it was saying like again like that she couldn't handle. She got jealous of her co-worker who was Belgian because she had spent 7 years putting duty before booty, which means that she was 29 and she wasn't married, which is in Asian culture this is a big fucking thing seemingly. But she got quite resentful and bitter and jealous, and she made the Belgian girl's life hell. But it was more or less showing Japanese culture and just showing me. It was just basically the idea of this was lose your fucking illusions. Lose your illusions. You know what I mean? You have this illusion of the Japanese, but lose your illusions. And I've taken this lesson, and I'm losing my illusions. I'm losing my illusions because I've made this mistake before. I'm doing away with my illusions. But everybody's individual. We'll take everything as we find it, moment by moment. Isn't that it? And then I had to go to bed for a while because I'm telling you, it was heavy. Oh, it was heavy. I'll tell you that. So I had to go to bed for a while, and then I dragged myself into the shower. And I said to myself, I've a lot to be grateful for. I've a roof over my head, I've food. And then I said, the best thing I could do now is engage in some philosophy in order to give me something to think about. You know, give me something else to think about, to occupy my mind and to stimulate my brain and open up in different, get out of this, recurring thought that kept being imposed on me, I'm telling you. And yeah, so I did that. I watched some philosophy. I watched episode 5 of Mike and Darren. It's a new series being run by Dr. Sugru. So I watched episode 5 of Mike and Darren, which was really, really interesting because it was about the role of humanities in society. And I had quite a bit to say about that. But I liked one thing that Professor Stanoff said. And he said in this thing is the role of humanities used to always be where they teach them philosophy and to teach them things like Shakespeare and about different dictators and things like this, is so they could have a different perspective on trauma, and they would understand tragedy and have a different perspective on tragedy, because trauma and is like morality. It's relative. You know what I mean? If you're completely neurotic, the smallest little thing traumatizes you, whereas you can give me something which isn't take a lot to traumatize me at this stage. Because he said the best way to teach people how to deal with trauma is triple it. Triple it. And I'm all for that. That's exactly the best way to teach people how to deal with trauma is triple it. Don't bother licking their arse or fucking rimming their hole. That's never going to that only compounds everybody's misery. And if you succumb to their insecurities and succumb to these emotions such as envy and jealousy, you're in big fucking trouble. But the thing is, I have this experience where you succumb to somebody's insecurities, succumb to somebody's jealousy, and then they continue to look for validation for their own existence, for their own fucking insecurities, to continually look for validation, while meanwhile oppressing the shit out of you and narrow you down to the very smallest of conceptual experiences. One person, a codependent relationship that can potentially destroy you. It can potentially destroy you, devastate you anyway. So, but the whole thing is, and the whole purpose of life, and people who ask about the purpose of life, the fucking thing about the purpose of life, if you understand the myth of Sisyphus, even though dickhead said read the work again, I don't have to read the work again because there's nothing wrong with my teacher. The whole purpose of life is, are we going to do something different as a collective? Are we going to start developing our faculty of reason? Are we going to start doing something different? But rather than just virtue signaling, you have to, I personally have to say, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to learn from my experiences. I'm going to contemplate my conceptual experiences. I'm going to think about everything, and I am going to learn from my past experiences. I'll never borrow money again because it took two or three goes to learn this mistake. But I do learn. I learned it. I will never borrow money again. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, I'm not going to allow myself to be enslaved or trapped by someone else's insecurities, because I've dealt with my own insecurities. And I tell you, this is like you say, oh, he's not working on himself, he refuses to stop cursing, and he refuses to fucking edit his videos, and he refuses to slow down. He's not working on himself. I fucking work on myself, alright. I fucking work on myself, alright, but not for your fucking liking. Not to your liking. I don't need fuck all from you. I work on myself, alright. But I work on managing my emotions and controlling my emotions and navigating my path through the universe. Not your path, my path. And this is what I feel more people need to do. Yes, is to be able to stop living to the expectations of others and the insecurities of others and the fucking do you know what I mean? Because this is just going to make you completely fucking miserable, and then when you're miserable, you're just conducive to the treadmill of production and the fucking and the big pharma and the fucking likes of fucking Peterson and these by his fucking tell you the truth, Peter's beginning to sick of my arse. To be honest with you, beginning to sick of my fucking arse. These fucking $3,000 suits, laughing at you know, being a master of rhetoric. Let's not go down that path because there's so much more to say. Oh yes, yes. So on the episode, so that's the first thing. If you want to help someone deal with trauma, triple it. And then this is what separates the wheat from the chaff. This is what separates the wheat from the chaff, which is completely necessary for the rise of the strong. And this is my role, is to facilitate the rise of the strong. But in order to facilitate the rise of the strong, I have to break out from the social norms that confine everybody to these like these codependent relationships that can potentially devastate you, and all these fucking rules and social norms that protect the interests of the weak. The weak. Someone has to go first and do away with these fucking social norms, and that's what Peterson's put now. What he'd like. But he's the biggest predator of the weak, he's really see, I'm not calling him weak, but yeah, he's sitting at the top of that hierarchy. You know what I mean? But then I suppose, he himself will tell you dominance hierarchy, and he's sitting at the top of the weak hierarchy. He's the shepherd, but he's the one having the wool and lamb chops. He's the one in the $3,000 suit eating the lamb chops. Now, but as he says, he's $3,000 or $4,000 suit, half of his goat hair and half of the sheep hair. But that's what has him at the top of the hierarchy of the sheep. But anyway, back to my philosophy. Yes, so then I watched episode 5 of Mike and Darren. I walked to Kaufland, which again was my advice. Go out and get a walk for yourself. So I walked to Kaufland and I bought myself a beer so I could join this symposium, because Dr. Sugru was drinking a beer during episode 5. So I said, oh, that's a great fucking idea. I'll go and get a beer so I can join this symposium. And I came back then and had a few beers, and I commented on episode 5 and episode 6. Episode 6 was on aesthetics. And I have quite a lot to say about that on aesthetics, because I've told you before, Kierkegaard said, the choice every man has to make is the aesthetic man or the ethical man. But then the irony is that the ethical man is the aesthetic man. So I changed it to the aesthetic man or the virtuous man. And the virtuous man has to, it's a little bit of a rough ride, but someone has to go first and somebody has to lead by example, and show that unless we start to do things, learn from our mistakes, or not even mistakes, our experiences. I don't even like to call them mistakes because there is really no mistakes. Because really, you have to ask at what point have you developed sufficient self-control to make your own choices. But you really only have developed your ability to develop self-control when you actually start thinking about everything and understanding life, and understanding that you can't control your thoughts, they can't control their thoughts. So stop blaming everybody. Everything is an experience. Everything is an experience. Everything is an opportunity to learn. Everything is an opportunity to adapt. And then we can start doing this individually and collectively. Or otherwise what we have is what Nietzsche called the eternal reoccurrence. And this is what the Buddhists are trying to break out from. Now they call it suffering, but the truth is, like Nietzsche would have said, live a life that you'll be very happy to live over and over again. And I have to say, when I read that the Buddhists wanted to do all the meditation and sit for the 3 years in the cave because they want to break out of Sumatra, whatever you call it. They don't want to stay reincarnating back into the same life, into a reoccurrent cycle. And I said, what's the fucking problem with going back and living the same life again? Sure, I'm having a great fucking time. And I am having a great fucking time. I've had a great fucking life. And there's no problem doing it all again. I had a great fucking time. But the thing is, you don't have to sit on your ass. And this is the point I'm trying to make. Now, they're trying to get enlightened, sitting on their ass trying to get enlightened. But it doesn't stop at enlightenment. The thing is, when you get enlightened, even though I hate that fucking term, but when you actually, this means that when you break out from the matrix, then, and only then, when you break out from the matrix, that's when you can start to do something completely different that you don't have this reoccurring cycle, because you'll start learning from your experience. And then we can do it collectively, because if we don't learn from our experiences, the only thing that changes is the concepts. You know what I mean? The principles stay the same and only the concepts change. And this is why even in our own individual lives, if I was to say, for example, if I was to continue borrowing money, let's go and do the same thing again, that was like kicking the bollocks, let's go and give me another one, I haven't learned yet. Or if I was to get back into a relationship where I was to succumb to somebody else's insecurities, well, it's like the song says. I don't know which song to play first today. I don't know whether to play. I might play James Blunt, Same Mistake, because I know I played it before, but that's very relevant here. And so is Shakespeare. Why did it teach us about love? And we've learned nothing. But I made a video about this. We have learned nothing. Why do they teach us about love? Why did we do Shakespeare at 16 years of age? Because they teach us about love, but we've learned nothing. This codependent relationship is a fucking tragedy. It's a tragedy. And love is a tragedy, but in modern society, they monetize the whole concept of love. Love is a fucking tragedy. It's all the emotions. All the colours. The blue, the fear, the envy, the fucking trust, the anger. It's all the colours. But you must learn to control this. And even if you get the feeling of them, you must learn to control this. You must learn to like anger, like fucking every other emotion, like grief, like everything. You must learn to change your perspective, that you can feel the feeling, but attach a different judgment. Do you know what I mean? Attach a different judgment. And this is the whole purpose of Stoicism. But Stoicism is all about introspection. It's all about not trying to control others. Focus on what is within your control, which is yourself. In other words, why is this traumatizing me? Why do I feel this? Like me yesterday, I knew well what was going on. I said, I don't care. You can lay down that blanket. I I'll take this on the chin, but then I'll take my own counsel. And by the time I was walking back from counselling with the beer, I was laughing and joking and everything because I was after watching episode 5 and I was thinking about what I was going to write for this. And then I was writing ahead. I spent the afternoon drinking beer and writing writing in the comments for episode 6. I had a fucking great afternoon and I'm up today in great form now. And on with life. Main thing I have to learn now as well is to lose my illusions. This is very important. Do away with all expectations. Do away with all expectations because that's the root of all suffering. Goodbye. I may get old.